All right, man. So we are live, my man. My man Krys is joining me all the way from the beautiful state of California. How you
What
doing,
is
man?
happening? I'm good, Mickey. Thank you for having me, brother.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you stopping by, man. I met you at the
Absolutely.
Tom Ferry event. It was an epic event. I think a lot of people say it's one of the best summits, if not the best summit that they've been to. Man, I'm glad I bumped into you at that breakfast buffet.
Likewise, likewise. The world is small. That's the best part of those events is obviously we get a lot as far as the education, but the networking and the relationships is honestly everything. And it just right place, right time. I think you and me literally, yeah, at a breakfast buffet in passing. So everything is an opportunity.
Oh man, yeah. I was like, this guy seems pretty cool. And then I happened to see, like, I saw your content, which was like very unique, by the way. So when I
Thanks.
saw that, I was like, this dude loves what he's doing on not just real estate, but also in social media. So this is why when I asked you, I was like, man, can you come on and kind of give everyone like a sense of what you do, how you did it? Because
Absolutely.
unfortunately, a lot of people in this industry, man, I feel like, including myself, like it's two things. It's either they're too shy to start or they're just way too busy and not organized enough. And I know two things, man. Like, it wasn't easy for you to do it because
Right.
I went all the way to your first video to like where you're at now. And it was definitely like a huge difference, the leap you did from there. But
Right.
it also, you're a busy man.
Sure.
So I kind of wanted to go, I want you to tell everyone like how you started before you're in real estate, what got
Yeah.
you into real estate, and then what was that aha moment with social media and what you did with it.
Absolutely. So I appreciate you having me on. I think that's a good place to start. I've loved content since I started making it, which was about 2019, I think, is when I really started showing up in a much smaller fashion. My background is in law. Before I got into real estate, I was practicing law. So I was a criminal defense attorney for about 4 years and clerking, and the law was my life. And I think what attracted me to the content specifically was sort of the parallel of being in a courtroom and the performance aspect of being in front of a camera. So I was never really making videos before this. I was always into like photography. I've always thought of myself as like creative, but I really wasn't making video content like this. So when I got into the business in 2018 and I went to the Tom Ferry Elite Retreat, he was on the stage and he said something like, if you don't start making videos, you're going to die on the vine or something like that. And I had just gotten into the business, just joined my family who's been in the business for 35 years, and kind of thought to myself, what can I do to help? And I don't have a big book of business. I don't have people knocking on my door to be like, help me list their house. So I just started making one video a week. And if you were scrolling back on my page, you probably would have seen it. But all I did was I held up a chart, I pointed at the chart, I talked about the numbers in the chart, and that was it. I used to try to do it in a catchy place. I think the first one I ever did was like in Target, and it was just me pushing a shopping cart talking about interest rates. And that's really what sort of got me down this journey.
Yeah, that's a good journey, man. And I did see that you were in law, and that's a very unique perspective coming from law into real estate because at least you know the legal definitions of like certain complex things that we don't know as
Sure.
normal agents. But it's so rare that you did from that to real estate, and now your social media has exploded in a good way. I feel like you're definitely going to be up there in especially in numbers, man. Where I'm just noticing your content gets watched a lot, and it's just and the unique thing about your stuff, man, it's not generic. You can tell you like what you're doing. So I know that there's valuable information within those videos because you're looking at them and you're like, well, is this is this a comedy video or is this an informative video? It's actually both. But it retains information, which I don't know how you're so creative because I would love to be that creative. So that's the other question. It's like, how do you find your inspirations to make this content day in and day out?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think it really starts, Mickey, in our like belief in what we consider ourselves. And like, the first thing that I said probably in the first 5 minutes of this live is I consider myself creative. And I really believe that my superpower is partly in my self-talk. And I know that you probably didn't mean it, but you just were like, I'm not creative. Most agents are telling themselves that they are not creative. And I believe that is part of the issue, is because when you say I'm not able to come up with this stuff, the mind just doesn't allow you to come up with it. But when I think about what agents are really capable of, creativity is something that they're practicing every single day. I mean, when an escrow is on fire, it's the agent that's coming up with a creative solution to save the deal, right? When the financing is falling apart, it's the agent working alongside the lender to find out a way to solve the problem. So I really think that we are incredibly creative. I think agents are so resourceful and just will do whatever it takes to get it done. But for whatever reason, when it comes to marketing or content or videos, we feel like we're not creative. So my first piece of advice to anybody was like, talk to yourself differently. Encourage yourself, believe in yourself, say that you're a creative. The second thing that I would say is do kind of what you're doing already, is start consuming others people's content, right? You like what I'm doing, you like what other people are doing on the internet. Use them as sort of like a template or a guideline to try to copy them. And I think as soon as you get into the flow of just showing up, you then can begin to go into level 2, which is like finding your own voice. I think there's dimensions to being consistent online. I think there are dimensions to marketing. And I think step 1 is just sort of feeling the confidence to show up on the internet on a consistent basis.
I agree. I 100% agree, man. I'm going to share your Instagram here with everyone so everyone could see it. And man, so everyone, like, if you guys have a second, like, check this out. Like his thumbnails are awesome. I mean, it's all catchy. Like even the titles. I think the last one was about, like, was it Jake Paul or Logan Paul? One of those.
I did do one where I was trying to get Prime's attention. I'm posting, I think it's like further down, but yeah, we did do something. We were trying to get their attention.
Yeah, but you notice, like, I don't know if they're noticing this, like your thumbnails are really catchy, and you know what you're going to be looking at. So it's a very good video. And then use comedy, like this is like a house that you're selling here,
Yeah.
and then you're using. This is one of my favorite videos, actually. I don't know if can y'all hear this, or I don't know if
yeah, I can hear it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Hilarious, man. Like things like this is like
Yeah.
it gets the people talking.
Thank you. We're trying, man. That house we just put into escrow, actually.
My man. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, and then I'm noticing you're also doing these kind of like green screen videos up here. This is a really creative video you did. I saw this today, actually.
This is the Instagram hack to make your bio stand out in under 60 seconds. And no, it doesn't require sharing your OnlyFans page. First, let's head over to every successful real estate agent's favorite website, Now Bam, and find the very originally titled article, Make Your Instagram Bio Stand Out in Under 60 Seconds. I know, I'm a creative. Next, let's follow the steps that are laid out by first heading to igfonts.io. Once you're on the website,
I like the green screen videos. I think these are easy types of content for agents to make.
Yeah, it's let me stop sharing. So that video there, it's people might think, oh man, this is so hard, but it's really not that hard, because a lot of these CapCut, it does a lot of stuff for you. I'm assuming you're using a lot of CapCut, right?
Yeah, so I'm using a little bit of CapCut. So very transparently,
okay.
I have resources that I've invested in. Like I've made marketing part of my business. Well, let me say that again. I've made video marketing part of my business. So there are a lot of things to be done every day. Making thumbnails, unfortunately, is like not the highest, best use of my time. I have CapCut on my phone. I have Canva on my phone. I definitely know how to use them. And if like one of my teammates or Joaquin, the guy that helps me make all this content, is unavailable, I'm going to do it myself, because I'm going to push things out on the timeline that they need to be. However, most of my content, I have somebody helping me shoot and edit at this point, because it is very time consuming. And we're on pace to sell about 100 houses this year. I hope we still hit our goal. It's adjusted downwards just based on life and the economy and having a baby. But my focus is transactions, and videos help me have those conversations. But I have to be very mindful where I'm spending my time, and editing videos or making thumbnails. It's just like, it's not the highest, best use of mine.
Yeah. And that's, and not just for that though. If, realtors forget that you have to you have to give other resources to other people. You have to free up your time,
Right.
because that's our best equity of what we have. It's the number one commodity that we have, and people don't realize, like, if you suck at making phone calls, or you just don't want to, for example, hire a good person that is. Or if you don't want to do thumbnails because they're time consuming, or editing, there's resources. So it goes down to my other question, because you had a great topic here. How do you find your talent to help you alleviate those chores that you're doing?
So I think that's a good. I think the question is sort of like, how do you find help, or like, when do you decide when you need people to help you? So I think at some point you're going to recognize that you don't have enough bandwidth to do everything, and you'll begin recognizing that you don't have enough bandwidth by two things. You're going to start making a lot more mistakes. You're going to drop the ball. You're going to drop things are going to fall through the cracks, and you're going to notice them. It's going to upset you. Or two, you're going to find yourself irritable and in a bad mood and upset and frustrated. And I think in order to get off that hamster wheel, we have to let go of a little bit of control and have other people help us. It's so funny to me, because I know some people that love making content that don't have certain people help them, or don't like bring in resources, because they're like, they don't have my vision, or they don't do this, or they don't know what I want it to look like. And at the end of the day, it might not be perfect. It might not be as good as if you did it yourself, but this is not what we're in the industry to do. Like, I'm very grateful that I have these opportunities talking to people through social media, but what is our job? I'm not an influencer, right? Like, I'm not getting paid to be here with you. I do this because I love my colleagues. I love my community. I want to work with more people and broaden my reach. But where is the highest, best use of my time? I have to remember, like, I still got to connect with buyers, sellers, investors.
Oh, absolutely. That's a whole different job on its own, right? And staying creative for them it's a whole different task.
Right.
So you started real estate what year again?
2018.
2018. And so go down your first year into where you were, in sales, and that aha moment where, I know it was in Tom Ferry, but when did you see, I guess, because some people give up quickly. They give up as soon as because they think, oh, they've done it either for 1 year or a few months, or even veterans for 5, 6, 7 years. And then they start doing content creation and they don't see it like lift off, right? You started in 2018, right? Which today, that's 5 years later, you're doing almost 100 homes, right? So you started at 2018 selling 100 homes, which I doubt, right? Because no one starts the first year. Very few people do 100 homes the first year. So what were you the first year, and now where are you at now?
Yeah. So there was a few questions in there that I want to like unpack. I think the first one was, when did you see that it was starting to work? When I joined the business in 2018, I was switching careers into real estate because my family has been in this my entire life. So my dad had been the broker of our office for 30 years. We were once a Coldwell Banker franchise, once with Century 21. Now we're an independent brokerage. My mom has been one of like the top salespeople in LA, literally the past 34 years. So I was coming into this business not because I wanted to get into real estate, but because I had these mentors and my family in an industry that I wasn't going to allow them to like close up shop when they were ready to retire. So it was time for me to jump in. So for a year, because 2019 is really when I started making content, I was coming up with all the ideas. I was writing all the scripts. I was kind of directing my mom's content. Through watching her get all these DMs, and I was the one that was like responding to the DMs, like I was Nahid on the internet, I realized, look how many appointments we're setting, look how many conversations we're having through social media. And when I saw the success she was having, that's when in 2019, I really started making videos, is what can I do to help? I went to the Tom Ferry thing. I saw him speak, and then I started making one video a week.
Wow. Okay.
So
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah. So I would have to look at like all my old numbers, but 2018, before I started making video content, I think my mom, if so, it was my mom and a TC, and one assistant. So 3 of them. I want to say they did like 55 transactions. So she was still doing like pretty heavy volume. And then 2020, we had a pretty mental year like everybody else. Or 2021, we did 114 transactions. The year before that, I think we did 101. So like 21 or 20 was maybe 101. Right now, we're at like 62 pending and closed. So we got to crank to get another like 38 before the year is ending. So we're there, but we're definitely like we're working.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Those are big numbers. You know, when the average agent sells 4 homes a year, you're out there doing a lot more than that. That's impressive.
We're trying, man. We're really trying. I think it's one of those things that you begin like, so for me, I was very fortunate. I stepped into a machine that was like operating already.
Yeah.
It was important for me to make it more optimized. It was important for me to like really give what I can to scale this bigger. And I think to scale bigger, you need more resources. You need people to help you make thumbnails. If you want people to make calls for you, you need people to help you make calls. But I think agents need to just treat it more like a business, less of a side hustle, less of a when I'm in the mood to show up and do something, more of if somebody was paying me a salary, how would I conduct myself? It's funny if you like everything is content, and it's funny how you will handle yourself if you set up your phone in a tripod to film what you're doing through the day. And find yourself. Are you still dicking around? Are you still like getting out of your chair every 5 minutes? Like, I just think agents need some more discipline, and it's tough when you are your own boss.
Yeah, it is. Because I mean, it's you have to be self-reliant, and then you don't have no one telling you what to do. But
Right.
I think everyone needs to have that imaginary coach, imaginary boss that wakes you up, a drill sergeant like David Goggins, tells you how to get up, So it goes to my other question. So platform wise, where do you think most agents should be at right now, and why?
So I think that most agents should be on the platforms that they like spending the most time on. Because if you're doing it yourself and you're bootstrapping and you're not like, if you're doing it all on you, you're not going to be able to do anything for very long that you don't enjoy. So if you hate LinkedIn, forget about LinkedIn. You hate TikTok, forget about TikTok. Just lean on whatever platform you like the most. With that in mind, where I am seeing the most results is Google. So this is not what people consider as like a social media platform, but if you don't have your Google My Business page set up, that's a big opportunity. All of the content that you see me posting,
You're good.
on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, you'll see it on Google My Business the same way as an update. As I've seen our updates increase on Google and our reviews increase on Google, we've been getting way more phone calls. So I think Google is a great place to be posting your content. Instagram is definitely where I am having a tremendous amount of conversations, but it's like trust building and bringing people into the funnel. There's different levels of leads, right? There's different levels of when you're going to like approach a prospect. And on social media, specifically on Instagram, it is much more high level, top of the funnel, building the audience to bring them in, where really I'm trying to bring them into my direct messages to then ask for a phone number and turn them into somebody I could put into my CRM.
Absolutely.
On Facebook, we run ads, like lead generation ads. So like Facebook still gives you the ability to be like shoot to kill type ads, like click here for this list of homes, click here to download this free guide, click here to search, in this XYZ neighborhood. I think there's value in a lot of those different things. It's just doing them consistently.
That's the word, consistently.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of people, like I said, it's 99% of people will probably want to quit the first 2 tries. Like you didn't get like 100, comments on your first post ever on social media like this. So
right, but and what's funny though, it's not really the metric of success. It's like the point is not to go viral. The point is to communicate with people. And if it's only 5 people that are seeing it, but there are 5 people that want to have a conversation with you, those are the right 5 people. You know what I'm saying? You need to be doing things that allow you to start conversations.
I agree 100%, man. That is true though. People don't realize that it doesn't matter how many people you're looking at are looking at you, but it's the quality, not quantity.
It is the quality. And then it's also sort of like your engagement with them. I think it's fascinating how many people I see on social media posting stuff. They'll have a comment on their post and they don't comment back.
So true.
Like people are out there reaching out to you, saying something about what you're sharing, and you are missing the opportunity to engage with them back. How are you treating it? Is it a business? Is it a game? Is it just like playtime? My like relationship with social media is so funny because I really try not to be on it except like mornings and night because I can get sucked into the feed. I get my notifications to my phone because if I get something that's like, if I get a DM from somebody that's like real estate related, I'm going to respond to it immediately. If I get a DM from an agent, it can probably wait. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's important to treat this stuff as part of the business and not just, flounder around, just, scrolling mindlessly.
Yeah, man. And and here's another thing that I wanted to ask you, and how you could give this an advice to people that are watching this. For my team, for other people that I've talked to as well that are realtors, one of the reasons they all, at least a lot of them, have told me that they don't want to start posting online is this: they say they don't like the way they look, they don't like the way they sound. So how do you tackle that?
That's everybody, man. That's everybody. Did you see me interrupt you playing my video?
Did I? No.
When you were playing the video, I started talking over it. Like,
yeah.
I fucking hate watching that. Like, if you would have let it continue playing, like, I would have just been like, stop. Like, nobody likes the way they sound. Nobody likes the way they look. That's the truth. If you like the way you look and sound, people probably don't like you very much. If you like the way you look and sound, people probably don't like you very much because it's human nature for us to be critical of ourselves. My advice to somebody who doesn't like the way they look and sound is to focus more on what you are delivering, focus more on the message you are delivering, because nobody cares what you look like, what you sound like, what you're wearing, when the quality and value of what you're delivering is really there. And that's the truth. Look at Gary Vee, probably one of the ugliest dudes on the internet. People love him because he's authentically himself and he's really giving the internet his true self, and it's valuable and people find it valuable. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's really the biggest piece is if you are posting something and you can't figure out what it's doing for the internet, it's not making them laugh, it's not educating them, it's not giving them some sort of value. It's for them to look at you or for them just to remember that you're there. Don't post it. Don't post it.
That's some good advice. I really hope people listen to that part. That's a good nugget there. No one likes, and it's so funny because that's literally why people do not post. It's just they don't like the way they sound. They think they sound like this. I mean, you sound like what you sound like, but that should not stop you from. And here's something funny though. Like I was just, everyone knows who the Paul brothers are, and you can't tell me that both of them sound good on mics. Like they sound horrible on mics, and they have a podcast, and then they're out everywhere. They just don't care. That's the attitude we should have.
You look and sound the same way you do in person as you do behind the camera, just about. So are you not going to go on appointments because you don't like the way you look and sound? Not going to go, you know what I mean? I'm not going to pick up the phone because I don't like my voice. Get over yourself. I do want to make it clear. It's important to be confident in yourself. There's a difference between being confident in who you are, in the way you carry yourself, in Mickey, like in Krys. Like I wake up in the morning, I look at myself in the mirror, and I really am a fan of myself. And I've worked on that for years. I believe in myself. There's a difference between believing in yourself and liking to look at yourself on the internet, liking to look at yourself on a video. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And whenever you're coming up, because I don't think you're scripted, correct? You don't do scripts.
I do scripts. I do a buttload of scripts, man. Okay. Oh my gosh.
You're so natural at it, man. I can tell.
I appreciate it. I mean, I will write a lot of stuff, and maybe I don't go word for word, but I take at least it's my process. I have to flesh it out, especially when the content I think is like short form content. There's not a lot of room for fluff. There's not a lot of room for like extra words. So for me personally, where I'm at, I will spend some time writing out what I'm going to say and tweaking it. And it might not be like right off a teleprompter, but I have a pretty good idea where I'm going with it.
Could you go over, because people are going to probably ask on this as well, they're at least wondering, what's your process of building from a concept or an idea to a concept to an actual video? What's your process like? And I guess, how can we all replicate that?
Yeah, absolutely. So my first piece of advice to follow my process when it comes from like idea to execution is don't do it all at one time. So for me personally, I'll have a time on my calendar. I haven't been following it to the T, but it's on my calendar for Mondays where I will just brainstorm and come up with scripts and write scripts. So that's going to be the time that I'm scrolling through Instagram. I have a notepad on my phone in which I just have a running list of ideas. Like if I'm inspired by something, I'll write it down. And I will carve out on the calendar a time in which I will say, these are the videos I want to make, and these are the scripts, or these are the ideas, and I really flesh it out. That could take me an hour. It could take me 2 hours. It could take me 6 hours. How many videos are you making? You know what I'm saying? So I will put on my calendar when I'm going to come up with the ideas and then write the scripts. Step 2 is filming the content. When I'm filming it, I'm not coming up with ideas. So like Joaquin, my video guy, he'd be like, oh, I have a great idea. Let's film this. No, let's write it down. Let's finish the filming, and we'll film that after the idea is really fleshed out for next time. Don't get me wrong. Like if you're stuck by creativity, go ahead and capture it. But the way that I've found myself to be consistent is when I show up to shoot, we're shooting. After I get the videos back, this is like step 3. After I get the videos back, in the perfect world, I will write out all the captions that is going to be posted on the platforms. Does that make sense?
It does. That's a lot of good nuggets.
And then I schedule it out. So it's like 3 phases: coming up with ideas, writing the scripts, filming and editing, and then writing captions and scheduling. If you try to do that all at once, come up with an idea, record the video, write the caption, post it, sheesh, there's a lot of work. It's too much work to do every single day. The video that you saw me post today got filmed 3 weeks ago.
So you have a lot of pendings videos that's about to happen. It sounds like
it's a library. You have to. Yeah. How else?
Yeah.
I've been in the car all morning. I've made an hour of phone calls. I posted that content. Like I have a listing that I was preparing for. How?
Yeah. You have a baby, which is
I have a baby. Exactly.
You have personal life, so
yeah,
so that's a whole different topic, because that's a lot of work. And then you have to still make personal time. You have to make your spiritual time, and then you still have to have time for business and even anything else that you might even have hobbies of, because I don't know your hobbies, right? But everyone has some hobbies of some sort, right? So at least I hope so. But that gives it to where you have a balance of being the realtor, being Krys the realtor, being Krys the dad, being Krys the husband, and then Krys everything else. But you make time for everything, and I feel like this industry, a lot of people burn out because they overthink things. And I think that they also don't plan correctly. You just said the biggest thing is like you plan everything on Mondays, like what you're going to talk about. You don't just pick up a camera and start filming. You have a general idea. And this is one of the things that I have always thought. It's like every great general, like war general, has a plan before they go to war. And no general is going to go to war without having a plan. Amen. I mean, you don't pick up a war and say, I'm going to kill this guy and go, you're going to have all your troops in certain areas for some reasons, because you'll lose the war. So the realtors, we have to have that like great general mentality of like, look, this is what we're going to do on Sunday. We're going to start Sunday. And then that's literally the days that I start my planning. And then Monday will be, for example, social media day or whatever day you need it to be. But you have to have a clear idea of what you have to, do for the week. Don't just pick up a subject or it's great to copy and replicate, but you also want to make it seem authentic, correct?
Right. You do want to make it seem authentic. I guess I would want to leave like two things that you say percolate some ideas that I think at least help me. The first thing is, if you're getting started, it's okay if it's not that authentic to you, because you're building the muscle to show up. So I was never really making very many of those like TikTok pointing dance videos, but I really liked them. And the trend videos, I really liked them. And what I like so much about them is that it makes it easy for someone who's not comfortable to get online, to get in front of the camera, to do it. Because they're not ready to talk. They're not ready to like let you hear their voice. They're not even ready to let you like see their ideas, because all they're going to do is copy something. But now they are at least comfortable enough to look at the camera and hit record. Right? So I really think that it's okay to copy somebody, to not know what you're doing, to just do the pointing, because you're building the muscle. You're building the muscle. And when the muscle is built, then you can begin to like expand out and lift heavier weights. That would be the first thing. And then the second thing that I think is really important is, what state of mind are agents coming from when it comes to making the content? And what I mean by that is very small language changes that will allow us to really feel good about what we're doing. And what I mean by that is, you don't have to make the content, Nikki. You get to make the content, right? You don't have to show a house. You get to show a house. It's a privilege that we're not digging ditches. Like, my family's first generation from Egypt. Like, I'm so grateful that I was born here. So I really think that one way that frames all of this is, no one has a gun to your head to film this video. It's a fucking iPhone on a tripod. You get the privilege of holding this iPhone to film yourself, to share it on the internet for free. And I think when we start thinking it that way, you just feel better about it. It's like, I could do anything, I could do anything.
Yeah, you can, man. And that's the hard part, that some people just like, if you have your mindset that, or if everyone had your mindset like you have, it would be just, I mean, there'll be the failure rate in this industry will be way less. And right. This is why I'm glad that you came here, because this is things that I feel like every realtor needs to hear, is that it's never easy. I mean, they might look at your content, man, and say, this guy, he's a professional. Like, that's just
start that way.
Yeah. And no one starts that way. They forget, right. I mean, every realtor at one point didn't know how to even sign a contract, and that didn't stop them. And it's with this whole revolution of AI, there's new tools out there. Right. So it brings me to my next question. What are your favorite apps, and what are your go-tos for, or anything for this kind of content?
What are my favorite apps? So you mentioned a few that I really like. CapCut, I think, is great to have on your phone, because it's very useful. It's free. It's easy to learn. Another video editing app that I used to like, but CapCut has sort of taken over for me, is called GoPro Quick. You don't have to have a GoPro, but it was like another easy editing one that I used to enjoy. Canva, I paid for Canva Pro. It's totally worth it. Those three are pretty good. As far as resources to get ideas, a couple places I think are really worth investing into, because they have free versions as well, but I do have the paid versions. So The Real Deal is a news source. You can pay to get their news. I think it's worth paying. I don't know what it is every year. It's probably $100. BAM has now like a paid platform for exclusive stuff to help agents. That is totally worth it. I think that's only like $10. What's another good one? Keeping Current Matters. Keeping Current Matters is really good. Now they're doing local data. That's another place that I like really lean on to get ideas. So those are a few of the platforms that I'm using.
Yeah, for everyone that doesn't know what exactly BAM is, I know you're a content creator for there, and I've been following them for some time. I get all their emails; they're awesome. So, could you tell them what exactly they do and what you're doing with them? So maybe they could even start following you there.
Yeah, absolutely. So BAM is a real estate media company. Broke Agent Media is a real estate media company, and the goal, which is why I want to be involved with them, is to change the landscape of like what real estate news and real estate media look like. And they, I feel, are the first ones to really embrace the change in like social media in the world by pushing out information in an entertaining, informative way. I think they are pushing way past like what Inman is doing. I really think they're doing more than what The Real Deal is doing in Housing Wire. And I'm excited just to sort of be a like creator for them. And it's a pretty like natural partnership. I've been making some of this content that is agent to agent focused. I've been making a lot of this content that I think is like parallel to what they're doing. So it felt like a pretty natural sort of collaboration for us to start working together, and it's been awesome. It's pretty new, but it's been awesome.
Yeah, they have really good interviews. So if you guys haven't checked out BAM, they have a really good YouTube channel. I follow their content, and also on Instagram. They post a lot of. It's similar to his style, of Krys's style, but it's their own way. I mean, they both have like very entertaining and engaging videos. That's what I meant by that, because it's not boring. It's like he like Inman is just straight news. There's not much like to engage with you. It's just here it is, and that's it. Hit it and quit it. I feel like it keeps me going back more to BAM because it's not just one subject that might be like kind of semi-serious, but it's also very engaging. It gives you good ideas. It gives you like, hey, this is what's working, this is what's not. We see this analytics of the market, for example, and you could use this to make you get more business. And it talks to you about legal stuff that we should all know about. So it's extremely important things that we need to stay on top of this, because a lot of other places do not care. They just want you to buy their program and that's it. I feel like BAM actually cares. Their content for free is amazing.
It really is. I think, all of them, like I coach with Tom Ferry. I pay to coach like in the ecosystem. And what I realize is Tom Ferry is giving you everything for free, but you have to look for it in different places. You know what I'm saying? I pay for coaching and now I go to his website and it's all in one place. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man.
So I think there is just like so many good ways to get things for free. The other thing that I was going to say that you mentioned that made me think of it is like, who are you surrounding yourself with? And with the power of the internet today, we have the ability to get closer to the people that we want to more than ever before. And we just need to acknowledge that like all of the negative stuff, if we have negative stuff, is affecting us. So if you're like trying to drink less, you probably shouldn't go to the bar with your friends that love to drink. You want to wake up in the morning and go to the gym. You probably should start finding people that like to go to the gym and not stay up late. It's the same thing in the business. Like you want to be around people that are making video content, that are selling houses, making video content. Go up to them at the breakfast bar and say what's up. Shoot a DM to somebody and say, hey, I like what you're doing. Can we talk? Everybody is just so much closer than you think nowadays. And our like mind is so fragile that we are just around people that are like, I'm not creative. I'm not successful. I'm not selling houses. The market is shit. All of that starts making us think like this is true. And that's why I love Tom Ferry, because I'm at this event and I'm standing next to somebody that's selling $1 billion worth of real estate with a B.
Yep.
Fuck my 100 houses. It's the truth.
Yeah.
But I don't look at it as jealousy. I look at it as like, damn, I'm at breakfast with them. This is real, right? Proximity is power. And I just think with the internet now, we are closer than ever to these things that we want, these people that we want. And just be very careful who you let into your circle, because I can look around like my group and they're all doing much better than me. Like I'm grateful they let me be part of that circle. And that's what you want. If you're the biggest fish in who you're running around with, it's probably time to get into a different pool.
Well, this is some good ending statements, man. I love how he ended this, man, because this is exactly why I wanted you here, man. When I met you, you had that sharp mentality. And I appreciated how positive you were with everything from our first conversation to our text. You just seemed like a genuine guy, and you knew what you were talking about. As soon as I started watching your content, I'm like, this guy knows what he's talking about. And like I told you in our conversation, I feel like by us not doing these things, the ones that are being successful in our own right, we're not helping the people that want to get to our level. We want to get to someone $1 billion. We got to hang out with those guys. We got to listen to what they're saying. So I really do appreciate you stopping by, because these are going to be some of the nuggets that I wrote down stuff right in front of me. So I got some stuff you said, man. I wrote them down next to the questions I asked, and I was like, that's good. That's good stuff. I'm going to apply it. And I hope everyone here does the same thing. And if anyone wanted to find you, what social handles do you have? How can they reach you?
Thank you. So it's just at Krys Benyamein, exactly what they see on the screen, Krys, and my last name, Benyamein. And it's the same everywhere. So you can find me there. And then my phone number, my email address, I'm very easy to get a hold of.
Absolutely, man. And any kind of Los Angeles kind of deals, referrals, good place to go right there. So
I would love
absolutely.
That. Thank you.
I appreciate your time, my man. But God bless you too. We'll be talking soon.
See you soon, brother.
Take care.